Today is December 1st, 2025. My name is Bobby Goodman, and I'm interviewing Marilyn Pailet about her days at the Columbian Club. Welcome, Marilyn.
Thank you.
Marilyn, I know that you started as probably a teenager or a young lady there with your family. Tell us a little bit about what you remember of the early days of the Columbian Club, maybe with your family.
Okay, well, I'm not sure exactly what year it was they joined. It was really because my father was a golfer and he and his friends were on public golf courses. And this opportunity came about because they built a new Columbian Club in Carrollton. As I was told, my father and his friends were not included at the original Columbian Club because it was basically Reformed Jews and we were conservative. But when they built the new club, so my father told me, they needed more members, so they opened up their parameters and he and his buddies got to join for golf. That was the overriding reason to join. And then there was other amenities that came about, like none of us had swimming pools, and so it was a place for the families to gather and swim. And also, as time went on, I wasn't aware, but I realized they had good food, and so people loved to go and dine there. They had, over the years, they started having bingo with a big buffet, and then they'd have a lobster and steak night, and you can invite your friends, and so it was really a wonderful gathering place over time. By early years, I wasn't very aware of it at all because it was just mostly my father going to golf, but over time we did enjoy it. And so then I could fast forward to when, and had a very important thing happened. My cousin Nancy Kaplan Lubar, their family went to Temple, so they had belonged for a long time. And she took swimming lessons there, so she tells me, and her mother played bridge. That was her recollection of the country club in that Lakewood area. But then when we joined, she called me one day and says, we need to go. They have a teen type of social event going on at the Columbian Club. So I thought, oh, well, okay. She says, we need to go. So we went. And they had I can't remember, it didn't seem like there were a lot of kids there, but there were some teens there. And we gathered, we met people we never knew before. One of them I remember was Lee Sheps, one was Davis, I think it was Steve Davis. And the cute boys, so we had a nice time. And in fact, Nancy started dating Lee Sheps at the time for a while. And I met kids I'd never seen before, and I was old enough for BBYO by then because I thought, well, why aren't these kids, why don't I know them from ACA BBG? And then I found out by talking to them, some of them, I don't remember specifically who, said, well, our parents won't let us join because BBYO is too Zionistic. And so they weren't allowed to be, and they wanted to be, but their parents didn't want them to. So that was a new group of people we met through the Columbian Club.
And let me ask you, so as you recall, about what age were you when your family joined?
I thought I was about 14 or 15, but I thought it was brand new at the time, and maybe they waited a while to join. I don't know if it had already been going on a few years before we joined. My understanding always was that we joined when they opened in Carrollton, but I'm not sure of the year.
Well, you kind of alluded to the fact of why your dad joined, but do you feel, thinking back, that there was he felt any sort of anti-Semitism going on? Was that a motivation of joining the Columbian Club?
Well, indirectly. I mean, he never talked about anti-Semitism, but we weren't welcome in most country clubs in the Dallas area, particularly the Dallas Country Club. I went to Highland Park School, so my friends all went there, my school friends. We were definitely not included there, and they never talked about joining any other club, the golfer friends, and so I guess the fact it was a Jewish club was very appealing. And my father and Willie Waldman and Erwin Waldman, they joined together, and they golfed for many years together.
And did you use some of the facilities other, obviously, I don't know, maybe you did play golf, but what are some of the other facilities, swimming? And
He did get me golf lessons once for a few times, but we never pursued that very much. Well, in the later life, when we joined on our own, then I did tennis there, and my kids would swim there, and my husband used it for business to take clients there. They loved the golf course and the food. That was a big draw. That was another phase of our life of the Columbian Club.
so it sounds like you spent a lot of your teenage years at the Columbian Club, whether it was just playing with some of the friends and making new friends.
Yeah.
Let's move forward a little bit to then when you became a member. I guess you and Harold became a member. Do you recall when that?
We think it was around the mid-'70s, because all our kids had been born, and the youngest ones were pretty small, but we took them to the pool there and enjoyed that. And we got a great opportunity. They decided that members' children could join at a special price. I believe it was like half price,
right. And
then you could pay it out on top of it. As we recall, we thought we paid around $1,300 to join. And so it was, a wonderful deal. And we enjoyed being members ourselves. And we had so many family events over the years at the Columbian Club. For my father's large family, he was the last of 10 children, and most of them lived in Dallas. So we had all the family anniversaries, big birthdays, were always at the Columbian Club. Our rehearsal dinner when we got married in 1963 was at the Columbian Club. My kids, when Jeffrey and Summer got married, the rehearsal dinner was at the Columbian Club. So we had, so many family events over our lives were based there socially.
And it seems to come up in some of the previous interviews. You kind of mentioned it a little bit. The food at the Columbian Club seems to be on top of everybody's list. Tell us a little bit about, did y'all do, you mentioned the lobster night, and what did you spend a lot of dining events there?
Well, we loved the bingo night with the big buffet. Everyone loved the bingo night. The kids, it was really great. And again, there was also the part about, for business purposes, people who weren't Jewish or couldn't afford to join, that were clients of Harold's law firm. He would take them there, and Harold was never a good golfer, but he take people because they beg him to bring him to the Columbian Club, so he did. And after a few years, he says he just would drive the cart around to be with them, because he really lost. He said he couldn't afford the balls, that he lost so much as the dues. That was his joke.
Now at that time, probably I think the Mel was the member, and I don't think they actually had the wife or anybody as a member. But were you involved in the club, or was Harold involved in the club?
Harold was, yeah. He was on the board at one time, and he was on a membership committee, he said, for a year. And so he was involved. Yeah, you're right. It was the men's membership, basically.
Right.
So, yeah, we just enjoyed it. I didn't take part in any decisions.
Right. And it sounds like now when your dad joined, he joined with the Waldmans and had a really core group of friends there. And then when you and Harold joined, did y'all already have existing friends, or did you make lots of friends?
Both. Yeah, we had some existing friends. We met a lot of people. Yes, that was good, and we enjoyed that.
When y'all were involved, I know you originally said that it was kind of at least originally, a lot of Temple Emmanuel members. Did it diversify a little bit, where there were more Sheriff members and possibly some more to
I don't know
Feritage?
there were ever more sheriff members for sure, but definitely diversified a lot when they opened up the membership and other, people felt comfortable joining and it was, I think, a good mixture of people.
And as your kids were growing up at the club, did they partake in all the activities out there, swimming? You mentioned you played tennis out there.
A little, yeah.
But,
Yeah, they enjoyed the swimming a lot. That's really I think they may have had some summer programs that they could have done, but my kids mostly went to JCC camps or sleepaway, so they didn't partake of a lot of stuff there.
so to put you on the spot, was there one or two favorite memories you have with the Columbian Club that kind of top of mind, or they were just all just...
We really enjoyed it, we really did, and it was a home away from home for us, and it was a bit of a distance as traffic got worse getting out to Carrollton, but and then there was, I don't know if anyone else probably mentioned, when the tax laws changed about the membership being deductible for businesses. I think that really hurt getting members and keeping members after that happened.
I'm curious, when y'all joined, we mentioned about swimming pool and dining. Of course, there were more restaurants starting to pop up, better dining throughout the city. When y'all joined, did y'all have a swimming pool at home? Right. So
I have 4 sons, and I purposely never had a pool. When we built our dream house, I had to build it because I could not find a nice house in Dallas that didn't have a swimming pool because I didn't want to be a lifeguard.
Right.
Actually, my parents lived across the way from when we built the next house with a pool, and my brother lived a few blocks away with a pool, and we had the JCC with a pool. So that wasn't any big reason for us. Although when we first joined, my family joined, no one had pools,
Right.
so that was a big deal.
So, obviously, special memories at the Columbian Club for you and your family.
Our rehearsal dinner.
Pardon me?
Said our rehearsal dinner.
Oh yeah, that's pretty
got
special. Why do you think in your opinion, why do you think the Columbian Club ended up closing down?
That's a good question. And I did try to think about why would that happen, but I just think people had lots of other choices over time. Like you said, most people got swimming pools on their own. Better restaurants had appeared, and it was an extra cost to join if you didn't golf. Now the golfers, I think, held on to the bitter end. We weren't in that group when we finally did resign because we just weren't getting that much benefit anymore for the cost.
Right. Do you think today, 2025, that the Columbian Club could be successful? Could it exist today, do you think?
Perhaps in a little bit different venue, like, again, the pool not being as important. The JCC now has such a state-of-the-art pool and workout, that kind of spa facility, so it's very costly to build those things. Perhaps as a dining club, a social thing, it still might, if it was, they could recreate the great food and atmosphere. And even the bingo, I still think people would enjoy that.
Right. Are you familiar at all with the new Columbian Club?
Not at all. So I have no idea. Where is it and what is it?
Yeah. It's more of a club, right? And more on that to come, I think, down the road. I think we may have a chance to go visit it as a group, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Okay.
Before I ask my last question, is there anything that I may have not asked you that you'd like to add to this wonderful interview?
No, I just think it was a very special time that's sad in a way, to recall, that's not there. But at its time, it had a great purpose, and a lot of people loved it.
Right. My last question really is, if I just mention the word Columbian Club, what comes to mind? What's the first thoughts that come to mind? when I just use that term, Columbian Club?
Oh, probably the bingo and the buffet, and my kids just loved it. And family that came from out of town, if they happened to be here, you know, everyone really, really enjoyed it. And it was a highlight of when they did it, you know, I think. And the manager that would call the numbers, and he'd say, clickety-click, and 66 or 50, right. Whatever.
Harold Osborne.
Harold Osborne. Yeah, he was a fixture there.
There he was. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and telling us and sharing your stories about the Columbian Club.
Thank you. I enjoyed telling you.
Thank you, Marilyn.